Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, to At the End of Fellowship 6. We don't really have a specific topic today. We're just going to sit down, shoot the breeze, and see where everything goes. I'm Matt. With me, as always, Mike and Sebastian. How's it going, gentlemen?
Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning, Matthew.
Come
Good morning,
on.
Mike.
Why are we cussing me out?
We're going.
Mike just got a whole lot darker. Did you turn the
did.
lights off between
Yeah, I did.
the stream? Well, he disappeared all of a sudden.
I'm in my cave. You want me to turn my lights back on?
No, it's good. You're good. I am well. How are you, Matthew? How are you, Mike? What's going on?
Yeah, well, Matthew, Sebastian.
Recently annoyed, but
Michael?
that's okay.
We're all going to
going
go
with
by
proper names today.
We're going by our passport names now.
I guess.
Well,
If we go by your passport,
well, okay,
Don't say it.
all right.
we should.
go middle names 1 week, or other names.
Well, one of the three of us is already there.
Proper first names. Oh, Matthew.
Anyways,
Anywho, so yeah, guys, what's been going on in your lives this week? We're having a little chit chat about some barbecue stuff here.
Yeah, and
So it's a little moist down here for many people's taste, but I will barbecue year round. I'm that guy. You just, as long as I fill the tank, which I haven't done in a while.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not far from it. So it's just, if the weather sucks that bad, I just step back in the house.
Yeah, well, absolutely. You pull the barbecue a little closer to the back door, and then you can just go and lift the lid.
I guess that's the problem with where Mike lives because the weather is a lot more snowy in his
Well, yeah.
area than it
In
is
some,
here.
yeah,
So
well, not this year. This year, like there's no
is
snow
it pretty
anywhere.
warm up there?
I don't know. It's above zero, so I guess so.
Yeah, that's true. Anytime it's above zero,
Well, it's getting.
warm.
It's been like well, I haven't really been home in a week, but it's been like 15 degrees, 14 degrees every day. That's pleasant, right?
Yeah, that's good.
It's
Yeah,
very nice.
we had a heat wave on Saturday, Sunday here. It was 21, 22
Right.
degrees, and it made for subpar St. Patrick's Day, to be honest with you.
Oh, really? I was
because
going
a
to ask
lot
you
of
about
people-
that actually.
It's the first we were talking about barbecues before we went live, and I guess it's the first foray into people really having backyard parties. You're
Mhm.
standing outside in shorts and shirts barbecuing on St. Patrick's
absolutely.
Day instead of going to a pub. So we were infinitely slower than we would have hoped or liked to have been, but you know what? It's fine. It's good. It's also on a Sunday, so which is kind of a
Yeah,
last year
perfect.
was on a Friday, so it was like such a banger day to have St. Patrick's Day, but a Sunday is weird, and then spring break started for a lot of people on this Monday as well. So, a lot of good stuff happening here.
Yep, all the kids are out on spring break and they're off and they're doing stuff, and yeah, it's decent weather down here last week, so I think you're hitting the nail on the head. People are barbecuing. I was at a barbecue on Tuesday night for a buddy of mine's birthday. He had his smoker going, he had my smoker going. It was a proper kickoff. It was good. We enjoyed it, and then Wednesday the rain came back. So
Here comes
Here
the
we are.
rain again.
I
there
was
you
actually
go.
down in your neck of the woods on your heat wave. We were down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
stayed in.
Mike decided to come down on like the busiest weekend for me. That was great.
Well,
Thanks for
we
that.
planned it a little while ago to go see some family. The kids hadn't seen their cousins, and it's been a while. And they're older; they're in their 30s, so it's pretty cool to hang out with them. They live off of Main Street, so we were sort of Richmond, Vancouver,
All right.
the whole time. Did a day downtown, showed the kids around, some cool architecture, and it was much nicer than we were down for Iron Maiden because it was dreary, cold, and shitty when we were in October. And it was amazing. It was like you said, shorts and t-shirt, and we walked downtown and just did the full meal deal. We hit Toy Traders on the way home on Tuesday though.
Not a boy.
Oh, and how was JoJo's
second
experience with the Toy Traders?
It was cool. Like so obviously she's 12, so she loves your Funkos, and there was millions of them. And she bought, what did she buy? She bought something. I can't remember what. And Cooper bought a couple. I bought myself C-3PO. Where is he? Hold on.
C-3PO.
So I bought 3PO in the chair from Return of the Jedi.
Nice.
Where he got floated by Luke. Just because
That's awesome.
It's awesome. And no, and even the wife, she was quite impressed by the store. There's even the board game section. She's like, all these games she hadn't seen since she was a kid, all that fun stuff. And
I mean,
but when we were there in October. They had this gigantic Skeletor on sale, and I bought the other one with the horse. I didn't buy it, and I said, "Yeah, when we go back, I'll buy it." It was gone.
Of
course.
Yeah. What did you learn? What did you learn?
Next time, just buy the damn thing. But
it's an amazing. So we meme about toy traders a lot. We joke around it, but it really is like a callback to childhood for everybody and anything. Like you have everything 100%. That you could ever remember from being a child in there, and even an adult. You know, there's adult things in there as well. You know, Dungeons and Dragons and collectibles, as Mike has. So
yeah. I mean, they had really expensive statues that are you know anywhere from 8 inches tall or to life-size stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty
cool.
So
if Toy Traders wants to sponsor us, we're down with that. We can.
We're not turning down a lot of sponsorship money right now at all. Quick ad reads, but I mean, look it up if you're unfamiliar with it. Toy Traders in Langley, British Columbia, Canada. There's all sorts of YouTube stuff on it. Even the most recent stuff is going to go out of date pretty quickly because they're constantly changing their decor. I think because I mean they do have big dioramas set up.
When we were there in October. Yeah. So there's a couple of differences, subtle differences, but they're working on stuff. They're putting up new things and drills were drilling and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, so they have the big superhero diorama wall where Marvel sort of meshes into DC and back, and they got the G.I. Joe diorama. The He-Man is a smaller one, but it's there, and they got the big Star Wars one. That's an impressive thing.
Well, even with like all the He-Man stuff, they had like I had Castle Grayskull as a kid, and and the wife's always like, "Well, of course you did, because I'm an only child, and only children, especially when you're younger, if you want toys, you generally give him this, and he'll leave us alone." So they, I had a whole bunch of He-Man stuff, and I hadn't seen Castle Grayskull in a long time. It was pretty cool. I want that, and I'm like, no, I really don't. The power. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Lots of cool He-Man stuff, but
yeah. Anyways. I mean, my cousin's coming out in a couple of months for a visit, and she's bringing her youngest son. I think he's in his late teens. We don't see much of each other just because I don't have a very close family, but love her to death. And that's one of the things that I definitely am looking forward to. It's even if you don't think you're going to be into it, walking into that store is an experience all on its own.
Yeah. I mean, just walking around and looking at everything for a half an hour or so is entertaining. There's always something that you miss the second time you go back. You're like, oh, I didn't even realize they had this or this.
Or or it's current stuff too, right? So the stock is rolled over. Yeah. So there is, especially for those Funko things, there's always stuff coming out. So
So
I'm sure that
I don't deal a lot with comics, Matt. But how is their collection of comics at Toy Traders? Is it vast?
It's not vast. They do a lot of current stuff.
It's not like I'm
not a big fan of some of their pricing policy for variant covers. So for the people that don't know, so the gimmick with comic books right now are they'll release an issue with multiple covers. Some are just I just want the different cover, so it's no big deal. Some are, if you order, say 25 of this book, we will give you one of this specific cover. It's an incentive. So you order 25 or 50 or 100, and you get this slightly more rare cover. Those go up and down in value just because they are automatically much more rare. It's harder to get your hands on it, but some of the pricing for the variant covers that are just A, B, C covers, there's common to order. It's not a problem. You don't have to throw an incentive on there or anything. Sometimes those get a little bit higher on the price tag area, and I'm not a fan of it. I was very unhappy to find out one was a lot more common than it was priced at, and I haven't bought comic books there in a while. I go to Heroes for Sale in Abbotsford, owned by my buddy Ivan. It's a much smaller store, but if you're looking for comic book stuff, go check out that. It's on George Ferguson Way in Abbotsford, sort of out on the east end there. It's not a huge shop, but boy, howdy, does he have back issues and current stuff, and he's really easy to get along with, and he'll order stuff for you. It's not a big deal. He does have some of the collectible stuff in there as well. It's a tightly packed store. Can't recommend it enough. And I was actually the one, I spent about 6 months worth of Saturdays. I'd go in there for 4 or 5 hours a day, and I reorganized his back issues when he first bought the store. And so
someone needs to do it.
Yeah. It was brutal. It was really rough. The previous owner of the store just sort of filed things, and then people would come in and move things around, and I'm gonna hold this for later, so I'm gonna hide it, this Superman over here in the in the Green Lantern section. And yeah, it was a big job, but I go there for comics. It's the way it is.
It's the way it is. It's the way it is.
Yeah. I guess if you don't know what you want and you just want to be in a toy situation for somebody, Toy Traders is a fantastic place to go. It gives you ideas for everything. It's not very specific. It's got everything in there.
Yeah.
And especially the plushies.
Oh yeah. All the major
you want a
stuff
plushie, go there.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, whether you want new or vintage, it's a great place for, even if it's not even just shopping for kids for Christmas. It's like any geeky person, right?
And there's a geek in everyone. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody were to
my better half.
Like a fully laid out
country geek. Definitely.
Actually, she found it's funny because she's like anti-nerd. She's like not into any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But she did find some friends Funkos, and she's like, "Oh, cool!" Because they're all the friends ones are from like specific episodes. So she was.
I told you she's a geek.
Right? So it's in there somewhere. Just gotta find it.
Hopefully, Sherry's listening or not.
We all got our thing, right?
I don't know either.
Yeah,
we'll find out if she comments.
Have you guys seen the trailer for that new Kristen Stewart movie, Love Lies Bleeding?
No.
It looks fantastic.
I have not.
It just was released on Tuesday, I think, but like, she plays a gay gym owner that falls for a bodybuilder who starts training at her gym, but it's labeled as an 18A erotica thriller.
All right.
It's got Kristen Stewart, Dave Franco's in there, Ed Harris is in there, Anna Baryshnikov, and I must say Ed Harris has the worst haircut I've ever seen him in. He has no hair on the top of his head, and he has hair as long as Matt's around the side.
Oh, I love it. That's amazing. That's like my dream is to grow that.
Why don't we have a look at this, since Mike and I have not?
I don't even know what you're talking
I'll put up the trailer for you.
I already got it.
Okay, go for it.
I got it. It sounded interesting.
It's super fascinating, man. I just started watching the trailers like this week. I'm like, I want to see this movie. So I think this might be a sleeper hit of the year, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So yeah, cue it up.
Let's have a look. The trailer for Love Lies Bleeding. I'm going to pull this off of IMDb, and
so it should be fine.
The excitement in the air is palpable. The atmosphere is electric. A celebration of history in the making.
What is this place? You're looking pretty good in there. There's some pretty serious lines going. Yeah? Why don't you want me working for your dad? Oh, he's a psycho. It's not that big girl.
That you two are maybe together.
Do you like guns?
I prefer to know my own strength.
That's not what I'm paying you for.
If you touch her, I'm gonna tell them everything you ever did.
Are you threatening me?
We gotta get out of here. Let's just keep driving. I fucking love you, you idiot. I love you too.
You'll regret this.
Oh yeah?
Little fuck.
Fun.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
And did you notice what studio?
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
There you go.
A24. Yeah,
Ed can't miss, man.
Yeah, they're doing really well. I mean, I don't want to say they can't miss, but they do some quality work right now. They're just raking it all in with the money and the accolades and the critical acclaim. And yeah, Ed Harris with the big time skullet
Yep.
Wow.
That's what it is. A skullet. Yeah.
It's a skullet. Hell yeah.
Wow.
He looks.
He looks like the dude
he
from
looks something.
like he's out of a Rob Zombie movie. One of the what was his name?
Yeah, it's
The old,
thicker though.
Like a
It's
devil's
almost like if I were
reject.
to put on a bowl
Yeah.
cap, right?
Yeah.
Mine's a little longer than it should be. So I mean, we're going well past my shoulders, as most people can see. If not, well, that's what YouTube's for.
Well, give it a couple years, and your hair will be just like that too.
I feel like Ed Harris actually grew his hair for real.
Coverage. I still got the coverage.
Well, let's see when you're
look at that
there,
golden head of hair there, Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew.
We will now refer to Matthew as Rapunzel for the rest of this podcast.
You know what? That's fine.
Okay,
I can deal with that. But it's a bit of a throwback to that film. It kind of reminds me along the Sea of Love, Basic Instinct, sort of erotic thriller.
Also got some Thelma and Louise vibes in there.
Very much Thelma and Louise, and a little bit of Hulk too.
Yeah, did you see that with her ripping the shirt?
That. So I'm kind of curious as to exactly what that was about. This looks solid.
Supernatural stuff in it.
Yeah. I've seen some reviews on TikTok, and it's very, very positive for a lot of people. So, yeah, it's interesting. And as soon as I saw that it was A24 Studios, I just perked up immediately. And for those that don't know, A24 brought you last year's Best Picture winner, Everything Everywhere All at Once, among other phenomenal movies, which I can't off the top of my head.
Iron Claw was one of them. Yeah,
that's right. That's another.
Yeah, they've been doing some really good work for quite a while. But yeah, it seems to be like every time I see a trailer and say, "Oh, that looks interesting," A24's got their.
You know what it is about that studio that sets them apart is that they don't ever. Well, I shouldn't say don't ever, but they take a chance on the not safe movie.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like Hollywood is always wanting the safe movie that is going to guarantee ticket sales regardless of the quality of the movie. You know, like superhero movies, for example, a very structured way of how the film goes, right? But I feel like A24 is giving people a taste of the outside edge of what you can do with movies, so to speak, you know? So, and a lot of people are very grateful for them giving them a chance on movies like this one, for example.
So I have A24's film list pulled up here.
Me too.
So Iron Claw is in there, as we said. Zone of Interest. I did not know that.
I got to watch that too.
Everybody's favorite movie, Tusk. So
that was years ago, though. I think
they're responsible for The Whale. Yeah. Oh, Tusk was bad.
Which not everything they do is amazing.
The Whale also got them the best actor nod or best actor. Yeah, because we talked about it last year how A24 cleaned up at the Oscars last year.
Yeah, they do a lot of horror. It looks like they did Hereditary, which if you guys haven't seen Hereditary, that is arguably the greatest, one of the greatest horror movies ever.
Didn't they do the one that we did on the podcast or the show? To Talk to Me, the one with the hand, with the statue hand.
Yeah.
We did trailers for that.
They did. They're also responsible for the upcoming Civil War. So I mean, yeah, they got a resume to them, really, and I want to see them do really well because they are making content that is not just unsafe, as Seb put it, but quality at the same time.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
it's
showing your true quality.
It kind of reminds me of the AMC TV network of the about 15 years ago, where everything they touched turned to gold. It was sort of bizarre stuff.
Yeah, Alex, you hit it. It is uncomfortable for sure, and I had to leave the light on, or leave a light on in the house.
Oh, that
I always remember you talking about it, Mike, where it took you like you couldn't do it in one sitting. It's like I need to take a break. I'll be back.
I had to. Yeah, it's intense. Like it's not so much scary. It's just it's so intense and so creepy and just oh my god, it plays on every nerve in your body. And it's like oh my god. And Toni Collette, she's the star of it. She was amazing.
Oh, she's so underrated.
She got nominated for an Oscar for it, and she's a phenomenal actress. Phenomenal.
I like Toni Collette.
Yeah,
I'm a fan. So, what do you guys feel is going on with this whole Mike Tyson fight? What are your thoughts on this? Just to switch gears kind of abruptly.
Hard left turn.
So it's Mike Tyson, Jake
You could say
Paul.
it's a right hook.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mike seems to be training his ass off for this.
Well, he has to because he's like 58. He's old. And
well, I mean, if he wants to win, absolutely.
Well, okay. So I'll give you my 2 cents. 25 cents, 50 cents, buck, whatever.
2 cents.
So a lot of Jake Paul's fights have been rumored to be pretty much works to elevate his status as a boxer. You know, he picks boxers that have never actually professionally fought before and that are on their, you know, tail end of their careers, like when he did with Anderson Silva, for example. He was like, hadn't fought in years and years, and you know, he picks and chooses his fight, but that's pretty common in boxing. So I actually think that this is like a money work scenario. There's a rumored list of specific rules which aren't official, so take it with a grain of salt, because some of the rule sets that people have said are fake, I guess. So however, if it is a work, you're still stepping in the ring with Mike Tyson. And that man, no offense to Mike, you don't know what you're going to get when you step into the ring with Mike Tyson. Because he could just turn a switch in there and go, you know what? I'm just going to knock his head off. And I would not want to be Jake Paul, arguably stepping in the ring with one of the greatest knockout artists in the history of this sport.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of like what Paul Heyman has said about Brock Lesnar in the past is like, here's the thing. He's going to go in, he's going to do his job, but if he decides he doesn't want to do his job and he wants to do something else, who's going to fucking stop him?
Yeah.
Who are you going to put in the ring opposite Mike Tyson that's going to deal with Mike if Mike decides, nah, I think you're going to need to be living in a group home for the rest of your life?
I think if you put a guy in a big giant ear costume in the ring, I think Mike would have to pause and he'd get knocked out. The giant ear would knock him out because he'd be like, "Oh my god, there's an ear that looks so yummy."
Knock him out. It would make him hungry.
Salivating.
It would be like one of those cartoons where the two characters are in a raft at sea and one gets real hungry and the other one turns into a hot dog or a chicken wing or something like that.
Little Life of Pi style.
Right. But this is also going to be Netflix's first foray into live sports.
I think that's why it's a work, because there's a lot riding on this. So they have to.
Alex coming in with the humor.
Yeah,
Did he
coming in hot
and he could chew?
Love it.
Yeah, buddy.
Absolutely.
Booyah.
Yeah, so there's a whole new deal. Keep going there, Seb.
I don't know. I kind of look at a lot of the people that he's fought in boxing, and it's none of these are legitimate top of the line boxers. You know, he fought Ben Askren, who is not known as a boxer, but he's an MMA guy.
He was a wrestler. If I'm not mistaken, Askren was like a wrestler by trade, so he's not going to knock Paul out, right?
Tyrone Woodley, who's never stepped in the ring with inside of a boxing ring. Then he fought him again. Anderson Silva, who was 47 at the time,
washed up.
Yeah, in his only real fight against a real boxer, he lost against Tommy Fury. Right, Nate Diaz, never been in a boxing ring before. He's an MMA guy. Yeah, he's a puncher, but
he's still not a boxer. It's much different when all you can do is use your hands and stand up instead of, street fighting and using your feet, take it to the ground, use the elbows, all that stuff, right? Francis Ngannou learned that the hard way against.
Oh God, did you see that?
Right? Yeah, it was awesome. It was amazing.
You can't go toe to toe with someone that's been training boxing their entire life. There's a different mentality. There's a different
the only thing is speed, right? That's it. Is speed, and that's going to be the biggest factor. If Tyson is slow, and then Paul's going to pick him apart.
Tyson,
Really?
I've seen a couple of those TikTok and reels going around a Tyson train, and he does not look slow. If that's slow, the man is far more terrifying than I
Dude,
have
how
given
would
him
you like
credit
to
for.
be the trainer holding the pads?
Oh, God, no.
Tyson.
God, no.
Like, jeez Louise.
Get your Medicare paid up for
Oh my
that.
God.
That's like, that was brutal. If you guys haven't seen that, they're not hard to find. They're out there. And, of course, it's a battle of chirping back and forth, right? That's what they do these days, is just like chirp, 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 chirp. And it does sound a lot like working. It does sound a lot like pro wrestling, where it's just, I'm going to cut a promo on you and I'll see you next week. And I don't know. I'd kind of like to see Jake Paul get knocked stupid.
That'd be cool.
You know what's?
I'd be okay. I want to see Mike hit him so hard his brother has to retire from athletics.
Whoa,
but I'm still pissed off about that thing he slapped in the wrestling ring.
I used to be such a massive Jake Paul hater, but I kind of don't mind him.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know what it
you
is.
like what you like.
It's because I know, like, I see the other side of him when he's just like a genuinely nice person, when he's with his girlfriend and what he does for their family, and how he's like at all of her skating meets and world championships and stuff. And, it's a business, right? And he's trying to be that villain role, right? And it's working for him, right? So you got to respect the hustle that the Paul brothers are doing in life, because they could have just easily gotten buried years ago based, from their controversial videos that they showed in Japan, right? And they apologized somewhat for it. And they've made a career out of being the villain roles in the media, kind of, sort of, right? But speaking of Logan Paul, if you watch him on the Impulsive podcast, he's so different on that than he is when you see him in the wrestling ring. And I feel the same way about Jake Paul. Like, when he goes to a wrestling ring, he understands that people want to see him beat, so he doubles down on that desire in the media and the population, and so he plays that role very well. So, to sell tickets and sell revenue for pay-per-view streams and whatnot. So,
sort of like Sean O'Malley in the UFC, right? He's an asshole everywhere except for the octagon, and then he puts his money where his mouth is in the octagon and kicks everybody's ass.
But that's kind of the thing, right? Everyone wants to see the cocky, arrogant asshole knocked out. But what happens when the cocky, arrogant asshole keeps winning? You just get more enraged, and the desire to see him go down is increasing. So everyone wants to see Jake Paul go down, but he doesn't, and he keeps winning, and you're like, God damn it!
Now, here's a question, because there are guys that have made a good living in professional wrestling being that cocky, arrogant heel that keeps squeaking it by. Ric Flair, Roddy Piper, being probably the top two earners there. Have you guys noticed a shift in the last, probably even the last decade, where athletic interviews, boxing and MMA specifically, really seem to be stealing these pro wrestling style arrogant heel promos?
Look at Conor McGregor when he was current in the WWE,
exactly,
or the UFC. Like, he went after people in the weigh-ins on Friday nights, the press releases. So, but it's a proven track record. Yeah. It's a proven track record to sell tickets. So sell tickets. So why wouldn't you?
You want to go way back, Tito Ortiz and Ken Shamrock in 2001, I believe. They couldn't stop getting on each other's case in the media, and it was vicious, and it was stuff that we hadn't really heard a lot of in that realm, and it just seems to have evolved from there, I guess.
Actually, there's
one sells the tickets, and any promoter is trying to put an ass every 18 inches. That's the goal. It doesn't matter if you're doing a concert, or if you are putting on a rodeo, or if you need to sell tickets. Your goal is to pick the biggest possible joint and put an ass every 18 inches. And if you sell out, you probably should have found a bigger stadium. because you just left money on the table.
Money.
And
Yeah,
this
I guess-
Logan Paul Mike Tyson thing,
Jake
correct
Paul.
me if I'm wrong. Are they not putting it in the
Whatever.
Cowboy Stadium?
Let me look at it.
In Jerry's house, I guess so. I don't know.
AT&T Stadium.
Yeah,
That's the
Arlington,
Cowboys.
Texas.
That's the football stadium, right?
Yeah, that's Uncle Jerry's house.
Yeah. So this for WrestleMania a few years back, they put over 100,000 people in that building. That is,
Yeah, it's going to be a big one.
You don't get bigger than that. So they picked the biggest possible spot to put an ass every 18 inches, and they'll probably have the ability to sell more because they probably won't have the stage setup necessary that the WWE put in. This is a big gamble, and I am fascinated to see how it turns out between the stadium trying to fill that, which they're doing a good job of it because everybody's talking about it, and the Netflix thing. Like it's, I don't want to say free because you pay for Netflix, but as far as I know, if you have Netflix, you don't have to pay anything extra for this.
I wonder if Netflix will go to like a pay-per-view model after this, where it's like, well, if you want this, you have to, or like an additional pay-per-view subscription,
a premium,
you have to pay on premium Netflix or
premium
whatever.
Event,
So
which
because Amazon already does that. Amazon already does that with Prime.
Yes.
So you have Prime, but then if you want like the super Prime, the stars, I guess you have to pay add-on packages for it. So
and I noticed the other day they have a thing. If you want to cut the ads out, add $2.99 to your thing. It's like, what?
that is a big piss off for me, man. When I
Do
started,
you understand why it's there now?
well, because they need because they're making money off of it, right? So,
well, but why? Why is it all of a sudden? Why is the screen the
you can't tell me it's because Amazon is losing money.
Because streaming doesn't make any money for streamers, like for those companies.
It.
That's exactly why. And it's like, look at Disney Plus. It's like they're like shitting money, and they're not making any money. It's
It's not because of Disney Plus. It's because of their chosen tactic and how they want to approach their old IPs. Hot take, but that's why they're losing money and they're pissing the population off with their choices of what they want to do with movies. And people are like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, that's to get away from Disney for a second. The point I was sort of needling at is when the writers' strike ended and they got what they deserved. I am not hating on the writers' strike at all. These people deserve to be paid. Don't misunderstand me. Big companies don't just go, well, I guess our profits are going to be down. They pass that along, and they're passing along to us. So they're going to add the ad revenue to create more new money to pay the writers rather than cut into their profits. They're going to add the premium services so that, I mean, theoretically, as you know, I'm concerned about because my beloved wrestling is moving to Netflix. I may end up having to pay for the pay-per-views again. I haven't had to pay for a pay-per-view in 10 years.
Yeah, so since they introduced the WWE Network, that's like that was smart. Honestly, though, it's like people like Netflix, they have to stop throwing money at actors for contracts. Like, what did they give Adam Sandler? Like $400 million or something for like a 6-7 movie deal
to make garbage. Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, no offense to Adam Sandler, but I can't. As far as I'm aware, or it's just in my liking, he hasn't been relevant in the movie scene for decades. I don't think. I
mean, he's done some good stuff. Mostly, and you guys know this, I've never been a Sandler fan. I mean, going back to Happy Gilmore and his quote unquote classics, it never really landed with me that well. However, you throw Drew Barrymore in a movie with him, 50 First Dates or Blended or The Wedding Singer, and I'm all in on that one. So he's produced some stuff I like. His serious turns. What was that one he did a couple years ago where he was like the jeweler?
He was like the jeweler, yeah.
Uncut Gems.
But but he got he can actually dramatically act, but it's he just.
I mean, he did good. Point. He did. I can't remember what it was called. He did another one in the early 2000s as well that was a little more serious, and a big departure.
Yeah, like he's a good act. Like he's a phenomenal actor when he's in a serious role, for sure. But he just plays this goofy.
He just plays himself.
Adam Sandler, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he sticks with his comedy, and it's no hating on it.
You're probably thinking of Hustle, the movie Hustle.
Yeah, that's it.
You're probably thinking of Hustle. Yeah.
Yes, that's the one.
What is it like? One of the worst movie he's ever done was, what is it? Jack and Jill. Have you guys ever seen that?
Yeah, that was bad. That was I didn't see it all the way through.
He plays the brother and the sister. Oh my god.
Well, yeah, that was one of those ones I sampled from the projection booth and went, "Oh no,
this is not gonna be."
Won't be doing this. Won't be doing this. I mean, but I don't know. He's hit and miss. I'm not running to see his stuff, but if it's on, and that's that maybe I'll watch it, give it a whirl. But I mean, definitely anything he's done with Drew Barrymore didn't hold up when it hit theaters. Yeah, that's true. Speaking of theaters, today, boys, I'm off to see Dune Part 2.
Oh, nice.
Good for you.
I'm a little unhappy that some theaters were charging a little bit extra for this one just because it's Dune Part 2, but
are they really?
Yeah, they like upped it $1, but I'm gonna.
Are you getting the Dune bucket?
See, that was the question I was waiting for.
Because all the commentary from a few weeks ago, you can't not get it, dude.
You are a big proponent of the Dune bucket. Let's go.
I was not. However, I do see the value of having the
say no more
thing. Yeah. Yeah, I do. I definitely see the intrigue. I was mentioned it to a couple of coworkers yesterday. It's like, you get in the bucket. I heard about this. I'm like, oh, dude, that bucket. Have you not seen? He's like, no, I've just heard things. I'm like, yeah, you have a phone in your pocket. You can Google it.
Right.
But it's like a $26 bucket of popcorn with a thing on the top.
Well, but see, you get the extra thing on top, so it's well worth the money.
And I'm sure I could find something to do with it to add to the core of the room.
Absolutely, you can.
So that might end up being a thing. But after we're done here, I'm gonna go rewatch Dune Part 1.
Nice.
And we're gonna go in and hammer this out. So it's gonna be Dune all day for.
I can't wait to hear how it is, because I really want to go see it, because Dune 1's amazing, right?
I really enjoyed it. Now, how do you guys feel about
popcorn with benefits? I think that's more the term.
Popcorn with benefits.
That's it. Perfect. That's all I got today. I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah,
it's over.
Mike's gonna pull a George Costanza to leave on a high note.
I'm leaving on a high note.
Yeah. So compared to Dune the original movie from '82, I believe. It capitalized on the sci-fi rush and the improved effects from the Star Wars films. How do you guys feel about that? I had a buddy at work is a big proponent of that being the better of the movies, the original.
Oh man, it's been a hot minute since I've seen the original Dune. I don't even know where I compare it.
Well, Patrick Stewart with hair was.
I was going to say it's got Picard with hair.
That's kind of unsettling, to be honest.
It really is.
That's worth the price of admission right there.
Something's not right here.
Right.
I mean, after Next Generation was out for several years, I had rented from the video store Dune, because I hadn't seen it in a while and I was bored. And I went home and I was watching that, and I had that jaw-dropping, today years old, life-changing revelation that guy was Jean-Luc Picard. And I went, what the fuck?
That's right.
And now we're damn near 40 years deep of Next Generation being a thing, and going back to see it is even weirder.
I bet.
So, do you know how many Dune books there are? There's okay. Go ahead. What was your answer?
I believe there's 3, but it wouldn't surprise me if there's more.
So there's 6 official Dune books and 28 books set in the Dune universe.
Wow.
So, but apparently the 6 by Frank Herbert is the actual Dune series. So
and then the rest is sort of like
spin-offs and other characters.
Extended universe a la Star Wars with when Kevin Anderson and everybody was doing so. Okay.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I guess there's 26 or what did I say, 26 or 28 official books. So there's an actual reading order of them, but who's going to read 28 books of the Dune series? I want to read the 6
depends
though.
on how thick they are.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, I've always meant to go back and read the first one, because I know the first movie, as long as it was, and I think it was like 2.5 hours, it cut out a lot of key points. And
well, sure, and there's 6 official books. How can you?
Well, that's the thing. It was just based off the first book.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And it cut out a lot of key points that these new 2 have put back in, and that seems that's what sort of got my coworkers back up. It's like, oh, the original is great. They don't need to do this. And I'm like, dude, they butchered that story, right?
The original is great. They did not just say that. Out.
What's that?
Have you seen the original? It's laughable at best.
I mean, it's not great.
It's not great. It's not great.
I have seen the original repeatedly. It's not one that I go back to and watched often, but honestly, I might have to find it down the road here. I know we got a long weekend coming up. Maybe I'll find the original after I've seen these 2 and see how it compares. But yeah, they cut out a lot of stuff that they put back in for this new one, and it's very George Martin Game of Thrones detail stuff involved in it.
Yeah, they made it epic, basically. Yes.
Yeah.
So we tried watching House of the Dragon. I'm going to change subjects.
Yes, do it.
Sorry. We tried watching House of the Dragon. I don't care. It's amazing. I don't know. I maybe.
How many episodes did you get into?
2.
Okay, so you need to get to the time jump. There's
I don't know if I got it in me. I just the last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones killed it for me. I'm
telling you, once you get to the older versions of the princesses, the whole series takes right off. When the young queen, like there's like a 15-year time jump, I think, between episode 3 and 4, and that kind of like it. The first 3 set up all the pieces, and then the drama starts happening in episode 4, and then like the last 2 episodes, like every Game of Thrones season, the last 2 episodes is where all the payoff is, you know. So it all builds to like the last 2 episodes. But give it a chance. It's slow for the first couple episodes. I tell you, it's amazing.
It's something. It just didn't grab me. I didn't like Matt Smith as whatever his name was, as the a-hole brother.
It was weird seeing him in that physical of a role.
Yeah, it was just strange.
Well, he's off-putting at first, but you kind of start liking him.
Like maybe I got preconceptions of like the original characters from the show, like all Tyrions and Jaimes and all that, because
it's none of that.
They're so well constructed,
and
they're so amazing, and the actors fit my vision of what they look like so well. This is just like, it's just off-putting. It's too many like blonde-haired pale people. I'm like, I'm done with this. I'm like, just I don't know.
Well, it is about the
Targaryens,
so you're gonna get that, but
I don't know.
I'm telling you, brother, man, it definitely reinvigorates the Game of Thrones feel when you get through at every episode.
Because I do want to get to it, because season 2 is coming like in August or something.
So here's the thing about what Game of Thrones does masterfully, and House of the Dragon did for me. And Matt, maybe you can comment on it as well, see if this holds up to you. But they do a masterful job of you either hating or loving a character, and then switching that opinion as you get through the seasons. And they do it again with House of the Dragons, where you're like, I really like this character, and then you're like, I don't like this character anymore. And then the character I hated, now I actually kind of like. So they do this, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that they definitely paint everyone with like shades of gray, where no one is truly good, no one is truly bad. They're just doing whatever they feel is best for their family and lineage, so to speak. So I'm telling you though, it gets so much better.
Really like is the King's Viserys, right?
Yeah.
In the first, he's got the thing on his back, and he's got all the stuff on his. I really like him. He's awesome. Like, he is, like, for me, Game of Thrones sort of personified. But
same with
the daughter, Rhaenyra. She's really good too. Like the young one, she's awesome.
But when the older Rhaenyra comes in, it takes off when the two I guess it's the Rhaenyra and then her best friend, when they get to the older versions of them. That's when the series takes off. Literally at episode. episode 4. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I think he's telling you.
I'm telling you.
Are you telling me that I need to get to at least episode 4 before I can make a real judgment? Okay.
I mean, that's an interesting episode too. Normally, I'll give a show 3 episodes and pull the plug. This, I was not as excited as Seb, and I was not as turned off as Mike. But yeah, that it does pick up later. It's just, I don't know. The Seb is correct. They do a great job of turning characters in your head. I mean, it goes back to the book. Jaime Lannister in the original books was a fucking prick until about book 3, when you really get into key moments in his life.
Well, and his relationship
turning
with
points in his
Brienne too,
personality.
right? Yeah. And she really changes him in the books.
Yeah, it's you hear more of his motivation for why he did certain things.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's the Kingslayer. He turned on his king. It's like, well, when you find out why he did it, it's like, oh, okay, you know what? That was the right call.
Yeah.
And then other characters, it's
but
like,
you can't do that. It's not honorable. But I mean, like, what would you do in my situation? You know,
right.
it is the right thing to do, even though it goes against honor. It's still the right decision to do.
Someone had to stop the Mad King. It just was the way it was.
And especially when it was over the, I believe, barbecuing the Stark, the older brother, and the father of Ned Stark in their armor in the throne room, and he just like, no, I can't do this anymore, and that's what
he
that's what led to it. And yet,
room.
his biggest hater, his biggest opponent for the first book was Ned, and it's like, fucker, I'm in this because of you.
Yep,
I did this because of you. You're pissed at me because I got fed up with something they did to your family. And that's, I mean, really the only thing that it turns out is super off-putting about him is he's got a weird taste in women. Yeah. I mean, that's about the only thing.
It kind of makes sense for the story, though.
It makes sense for the story, and especially in the world where the Targaryens do it. But at the same time,
but we're not okay with that. But we're okay with
can't super justify of he's way too into his sister, pun intended.
Yeah, right.
And that they do that with a lot of characters in there. Some you think start off great and turn out to be just absolute shittards, and
yeah,
you know,
and vice versa.
Yeah,
right.
So,
have you guys seen the trailer for Star Wars: The Acolyte?
I have not yet.
No.
Oh God. Well, okay. Share this.
Okay, let's do it. And
it's
there's
a show coming out in June. I got lots of thoughts.
Okay, let's react to this.
Your eyes can deceive you.
That's the star of Squid Game, by the way.
We must not
yeah.
them. Tell me what comes into your mind.
Boobs. Just kidding.
Light. Balance. I see fire.
And we got Trinity. Oh, yeah.
Someone is killing Jedi. It doesn't make sense.
What happened?
I sensed darkness.
This isn't about good or bad. This is about power and who is allowed to use it.
What is that?
I like it.
Ooh.
Okay. So from what I know,
Okay.
This takes place 100 years before episode 1.
Excellent.
Interesting.
And it is very intriguing. I totally agree. But there's some lore holes, big ones. I've watched a few people that know more about Star Wars.
Just from the trailer, you can pick up the lore holes?
No. This is like super nerd shit.
Okay.
So...
Beauty.
Yeah, this is like a rabbit hole of like
warning. We are getting into super nerd shit at the moment.
Super nerd shit. Okay, so like I said, it takes place 100 years before episode 1. And in episode 1, Catamundi and the Jedi, when he's talking to the Jedi Council, when they're talking about Darth Maul, no, I think the line is no Sith has been seen for a millennium, which is 1,000 years.
Not 100.
Yep. Not 100. So what the fuck? First is like, okay, well, the council doesn't know about these dudes.
So he's lying.
Either he's lying or everybody in the show is going to die because no one's going to know. The Sith guy and all those Jedi, Trinity, I don't know her name. I'm going to call her Trinity because she's Trinity.
Is she the Sith?
No, she was one of the Jedi, man.
Yeah, it's Carrie-Anne Moss.
No, I know, but like they didn't show the Sith, right?
I don't
just
think
showed
she
the
is.
Yeah.
I don't think she is. If she is,
that would be so cool.
Oh my god, that'd be so badass.
I would
like to see if they make the Sith somebody that exists in canon somewhere.
Because Darth Tenebrous, we're going deep here. Darth Tenebrous was Darth Plagueis' master, and Darth Plagueis at this time was 15 years old. Like I said, I've watched him.
So is he the acolyte?
Right? Like, is it Tenebrous or is it a young Plagueis?
You know, the world
they have
forever have been asking for a Darth Plagueis story.
I would probably soil myself if it was Plagueis. That would be so cool. Well, aren't you cool, Sarah? I'm so jealous.
She got a hug from Carrie-Anne Moss.
Nice.
Well, fantastic.
But
like, I would not let her go if she hugged me. If Carrie-Anne Moss hugged me, I would not let her go until someone forcibly removed it. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't.
Yeah, a laminated restraining order will look wonderful on your wall.
Right. Yeah, right
Carrie-Anne
behind your
Moss
head.
autograph.
She's Canadian too, apparently.
She is.
So I did not know that.
But I don't know. Like what Disney's done with Star Wars is
questionable.
It's questionable. Right? They've taken
had
the
some
canon.
hits. They've had a lot of misses.
I could almost say everything's been a miss. Not everything, but most things have been a miss. Right? Well,
I don't know, man. Like,
forget the movies because we'll argue about the movies.
No, I'm not even talking about the movies. Like the Mandalorian was a whole run.
Mando was good for a season and a half, and that's it. Now it is.
I don't know. The end of season 2 was good.
Did you watch season 3?
I have not.
So shut up until you watch.
Oh boy,
because season 3 is awful. Like it's awful, dude.
Is it?
It's not good.
I'll make a comment when I watch it.
No, it's not good. I'm sorry, it's not good.
You know what? It wasn't their best work, but it's
no, it wasn't.
It might be one of those ones where we have to come down a little bit.
I wanted to love the Kenobi show, but
they
didn't give you enough. Like it was just like, come.
It was the Kenobi show was that didn't pick up speed till later.
Wasn't Andor a home run?
Andor was a home run.
Yep.
Like 96% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes. Okay. So one thing out of like 85 shows they've had.
I like what they did with Ahsoka. I was a fan of that show. Really I am forever grateful for Mike for insisting I go back and watch Clone Wars and Rebels.
It makes it make more sense, right? It adds a lot of quality to the show. If you didn't watch any of that stuff and watch it, you'd be like, man, like okay.
Yeah, because I mean, I looked at they had an Ahsoka Essentials, which was the key episodes from both shows on Disney Plus, and I just looked at it and I went, well, this is most of the first 2 seasons of Clone Wars. So I just watched the whole thing. And then I watched the whole thing of Rebels, and I saw the first episode. I knew a little bit, but going back and seeing it in context, all the little Easter eggs, all the little in-jokes, all the little plot points made a lot more sense. So really grateful that you suggested that.
Yes. It's because I think Ahsoka was made for the fans. Like it was a Filoni Filoni helm thing, which he's the chosen one. He was George's heir apparent.
You're the chosen one.
Well,
so
really, he was
there's another
handpicked by George to carry on until Disney bought them, right? But
so Star Wars, there's some things I really enjoy that they're dropping out. There's other things not so much. Like I wanted to like Book of Boba Fett real bad.
I was just gonna say that I wanted to like it so bad, but it's just like no, like that
was the biggest miss for me. One show, it's an anthology show, Star Wars Visions. It's mostly animated. It can vary in styles, but it's also pulling from a comic book, and I just got the new edition of it, and it is samurai, Sith, Jedi stuff. I really enjoy that extra look outside of the main universe. Can't recommend it enough. Really enjoying the comic book work.
They need to get out of the main universe, and they need to, like, so this show obviously is probably going to circle around to, you know, as I just did the Jedi mind trick. It's obviously going to circle back to the prequels and stay in that Skywalker universe. They need to get the hell out of that and do something completely new. Like let's go 2,000 years, which I heard they're going to do.
Yes.
Go way into the past of the High Republic where there's no Yodas, there's no Emperors, there's no Skywalkers.
Yes.
It's a completely new set, a new universe. Because the Skywalker universe has been beat to death. Like I love Star Wars. I'll watch episodes 1 through 6. Well, maybe not 2, but I'll watch most of them. Well, I can't watch one anyways. I'll watch those ones whenever, right? And there's other shows and books too, like the Plagueis book and the Visions and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the much like Marvel and the MCU, they're pulling the good parts of that old novelization universe.
Yes.
And they're putting it on the screen. I don't mind that. I think you have to separate the pre-sale literature from what they're doing now, because they are doing a good tribute job of it in spots. But I would, like you, Mike, let's go back 2,000 years. Let's see the Friedenat uprising. Let's see some of these comic books that Dark Horse put out that were set 1,000 or 2,000 years before Palpatine was a thing. Do you think they got gun shy with Star Wars? And we'll beat Star Wars to death in May, I'm sure. But do you think they got gun shy with pulling themselves too far out of the Skywalker universe when Solo underperformed? I liked Solo. I thought it was a great heist film set in the Star Wars universe.
Solo wasn't terrible, but yeah, I think they did. Because they were expecting to get paid, you know, big bank, like do what every other movie, do what Andor did, right? Or not Andor, the show, what the show called? Whatever.
Rogue One.
Rogue One.
Yeah.
They were expecting the performance of Rogue One out of Solo, and it just wasn't there. You know, take this casting of Han Solo for what you will. He wasn't terrible. Like he really wasn't.
I thought it was fine.
And it was a better movie than what it's getting credit for. It's going to be one of those movies you look back in 10 years going, hey, you know, that Solo movie? That was some good shit.
Old classic that people will like as it ages. What is the last thing that happens in Star Wars canon that you guys are aware of? Like the last, like the furthest thing along. Like, why can't they just go from that point off and jump into
movie?
So why can't they just move?
Oh, they're doing that. They're making.
I have no problem with that either. I would love to see.
Because they keep going back to all this stuff that's not mined yet from like the Acolyte and like all this stuff, you know, they keep going into the past to have these new series, which really kind of, you have to be super careful with you know, canon and not having to retcon us too much, because you can shoot yourself in the foot, so to speak, by trying to create a good story, but you still have all this stuff. It's got to be challenging because you have all this stuff that you have to stay true to, and it kind of limits your creative ability, I think. Well, because you have to stay true to that,
they
right?
They are going forward with another Star Wars, like, I don't know,
in the future.
Trilogy, but it's going to be with Rey again. But it's they need to stop. No, that's done.
I'm okay with that. Actually,
I think it depends on how they approach it.
He wants to have like a Jedi temple, do what like Luke did. It's like, no, can we just? I don't know. Can we not?
It could be an interesting journey. There was, and I mentioned this before. There was comic series that followed right behind Jedi and how Luke brought the temple and started getting the his journey to, basically Ben Solo, they haven't touched on. But I don't mind stuff set in the world that is not directly in the path of Vader, Luke, Rey, Palpatine. I liked Solo. Rogue One didn't have a lot of Jedi in it. Neither did Solo. They didn't have. I mean, I guess there was the one climactic battle leading into at the end of Rogue One, but it wasn't the lightsaber sort of dual Jedi everywhere that we're accustomed to. And yet, when Solo did it, because it was so far off that storyline, it just didn't hit as much. And I think they probably crammed a little too much of Han and Chewie's backstory in there just to, do the Millennium Falcon. Oh yeah, he did the Kessel Run before he had won it from Lando, and they just tried to cram too much of that backstory into one film instead of going, we're going to focus on this. This is how he got the Falcon. We'll do it in the sequel. We'll show you how he hit the Kessel Run. It kind of like Spider-Man 3 for me, where it was just too much content they were trying to get into one movie, just because maybe they were already gun shy about trying it. I don't know.
Could be.
Yeah. Anyways, we're about an hour. I got one more thing I want to mention that I watched, and it gave me the feels. And I haven't talked to anybody that didn't get the feels out of this. X-Men
the popcorn bucket feels, like those kinds of feels.
Not yet. I'll tell you. We will talk about that later. It reminds me, I should probably take a knife with me and just cut the bottom out of that. Anywho,
oh my goodness.
X-Men 97, the long-awaited continuation of the X-Men cartoon. Oh boy, first 2 episodes dropped. It was exactly what I needed.
Oh, is that out?
Yeah, sweet. The first 2 have dropped. It's exactly what I needed. I can see the storylines that they're picking at. I was really, really happy with the character they introduced in the first episode. He's one of my favorites.
This is Disney Plus, I'm assuming, yes?
It is.
Okay.
So for those people that are listening that don't know, what is X-Men 97?
Okay, so in 91 or 92, the X-Men cartoon debuted. It ran for 5 or 6 years and ended in 97. So this is picking up right where the original cartoon left off. Logan, Gambit, Cyclops, Phoenix, Beast, Morph, and then just the world around them. So they've decided to pick up and do the next season. They're calling it X-Men 97, and it's just a flat continuation from where they left off. They got some different voice talent, and the animation is improved, but I'm really, really digging the stories they're pulling from and the threads they're plotting to weave together. It was exactly what it needed to be. It reminded me a lot of watching that the last couple of He-Man series, where it's a
Kevin Smith He-Man
version, and they do well to service the modern times and mix in the nostalgia for the rest of us that were originally there.
I can't recommend Kevin Smith He-Man enough.
Yes,
Kevin Smith He-Man is awesome.
I haven't seen the second season yet, and I'm just now realizing I started it and never got back to it. And it was through no fault of anything other than I got busy for a couple of days and completely slipped my mind.
Forget about it, right? Yeah.
Forget about it.
I got one more show trailer to show you because I started watching this show and I'm quite enjoying it.
Okay, let's have a quick look at this.
And our favorite Game of Thrones queen.
Hey, it's okay.
Oh, I love Lena Headey.
Me too. She's awesome.
Your ship just crashed.
She was so good in Doom. Or not Doom. Doom. No, Dread. Dread is what I'm talking about.
It's a pretty sweet view to wake up to.
It's I call this like sort of high sci-fi.
This is where I was going Beacon 23.
Cool. What are you doing here?
I just need access to any data. No. Something wrong? The Beacon Keeper is uncooperative and hostile. He's hiding something.
There's something here. Something valuable.
Don't you think we should try and cooperate?
There is no we, because I don't trust you.
We don't have much of a choice now, do we? We could do this together as a team.
What happened to your ship was an accident. Was it? I think it's all connected. You were meant to come here. So was I.
Boy.
It's cool. On 5 episodes, 5 out of 8 in, and yeah, it's really good. It's like high sci-fi. It's really cool.
Yep.
It's kind of got that 2001 little bit feel to it, and I'm really enjoying all the performances of the actors too. They're phenomenal. Like Lena is phenomenal. Stephen James is awesome. Barbara Hershey's in it for an episode, and she's amazing. It's really good. And season 2 is coming. I don't know, this year, later this year, or something. There's already a trailer for it.
Modern day chameleon Stephen Root is in there as well.
Yes. Yeah, he's really good too.
But you can't see him in it.
Yeah, and then Mark Menchaca, who has been in fucking everything lately, since his turn in Ozarks, has really been popping up all over the place, or at least he's noticeable as he's popping up all over the place.
Yeah, it's based on a short story or a small, like a novella kind of thing. So
yeah, its IMDb description is: a man living in the 23rd century works at a remote lighthouse in space that serves as a beacon to help passing ships. So that's an interesting concept. So where exactly are you watching this?
It's on Prime.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up. That definitely looks like something. I just finished watching Monarch, the Godzilla on. Nice. Highly recommend that.
Yeah,
but we can get into
really
more of that down the road.
Yes.
It's I feel like there's a lot on the meat on the bone for Godzilla, and I definitely think
there's a cliche.
Absolutely.
Every time every time Rapunzel says a cliche, I'm supposed to drink.
Yeah, you've missed the boat a little bit there.
I did, yes.
Okay, do we do it for Mike too?
No.
But yeah, no, I'll drop.
Yeah, you can kill 2 birds with one stone.
Right.
And then my TV watching partner there is also so cool. I'm not gonna have to convince anybody about that.
It's really good. When I was away for work, I was my evenings. I just sat there and watched it till I fell asleep. So it was good.
Perfect. And your last sci-fi recommendation, I really enjoyed that too, and that was The Expanse. So
yes.
Yeah.
It's not a 6-season slog like The Expanse is, but it's 8 episodes and season 2 is coming.
Have you read the book series The Expanse? Because it's based off of a book series, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's like 14 books or something. There's a lot of books, and I think the show is based off the first 6, and then there's like a 100-year time jump or a 50-year time jump.
Yeah, there was something on TikTok I watched like last week where the guy just went off on the book series. It was amazing, and like one of his sleeper sci-fi book series to read
really
in your lifetime. So I don't know.
It's supposed to be good. That's what they say. There's rumors of season 7 coming. There's rumors.
Yes, I've heard those. I'm interested to see how that goes.
It's been a while since I've heard anything, but there is some rumors that they're going to revive the show and go for season 7.
I have a parting.
Go.
Sorry,
Thought.
I have a parting question for you guys that was asked, and we can end it with this. What is one show that ended early that you would love to see come back? I have one obvious answer for myself. It would have been Firefly, because there was only 1 season, and I'm not sure why they ended up canceling it, because it was like Sarah just said Firefly. So is there anything that pops up in your mind about, a show that ended earlier than it should have, which you don't know why? Go ahead, Mike.
I got one. It was on Netflix, and they cancel things all the time. They give you 1 season. They just said, nope, don't care how good it is. Move on to the next thing. Archive 88. Amazing. Okay. Oh my God, that show was so good.
And it left you needing that next season too.
Or even just give me 1 more episode. I'll just wrap it up in a big bow in 1 long episode. But
and they don't give it to you, right?
For sure. No.
Yeah.
The show's been canceled. It's done. It's never coming back. And it was awesome. You should really watch it, Zeb. It's really cool.
I mean, one show that I would have said would have been Zoe's Magical playlist or something like that. I can't remember at any rate, they did like a Christmas special and wrapped the whole thing up and killed it dead. So same
Well, at
as
least
kind
they
of like
have a
what they did with
conclusion.
Firefly when they did the Serenity movie. It's like, yeah, okay, just here. You know,
That is a
we're not doing it
great
because we
movie,
just
by the
killed
way.
everybody.
That is a great movie, by the way. Serenity.
It's pretty solid.
The sci-fi
Firefly
one.
is one of those ones that's a go-to, but for me, the one I would like one more season of, and it took a while to get there, but it got real hot and ended, was HBO's animated Spawn. Like 3 seasons, and the end of the 3rd season ended so hot, and then just nothing. Yeah, it was one of those ones that just, it started good, got better, was smoking hot, and then that's it.
Bye-bye.
Man, that's due for a remake, Spawn.
It's in the works.
I've heard things.
Yeah, it's in the works. They had, I think Jamie Foxx is playing Al Simmons.
Interesting.
Also,
if you haven't seen it yet, the new Crow trailer is out. I would like to get you guys' input on it at some point, but you don't have to do it today. It's interesting. So,
we can talk a bit about that next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week. I am not on board.
I know the director of the original, Alex Proyas, is not on board.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, he's not happy about it.
I'm gonna go in
of
who's playing the Crow?
The guy that played it was in it, the Skarsgård kid.
Oh, Bill?
Bill Skarsgård, yeah.
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård.
Can we just
photo of him
for 1 second take a moment to highlight that fucking acting family, the Skarsgård family?
God, they're amazing.
Because they're amazing. The 3 brothers and the dad, they're all killing it in Hollywood right now. Killing it. You know, so
well, I mean, and Stellan's been doing it for years. He was a highlight on Hunt for Red October. He was the the Russian submarine commander that was against that was hunting down the Red October on the other side.
Yeah.
That was
Also, Matt, when you go see Dune 2, let us know. I haven't seen it yet, but I've just seen TikToks of it. Let us know about Austin Butler's transformation in that movie.
Oh, it looks crazy, doesn't it?
Because you look at Austin Butler and it's like, it's Elvis, and then you see him in Dune 2. I'm like, that's the same guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's if you look up his IMDb, we see him as Elvis because that's really where he got planted in our minds as Elvis, because it was great. But you look at the rest of his credits, like, oh, you got some skills under there. Don't let him pretty boy typecast you.
No, he's good.
All right. Yeah, so that's it for us, I believe. We got some stuff in the works. Oh, one thing I wanted to ask you guys. I've been listening to a new podcast, and I'm quite curious as to what is the next song on Mandatory Music. Have you guys discussed that yet? Do you have?
We have.
It is.
Can we get a spoiler? Not
the 4 Horsemen.
Well, I mean, it's.
That's the spoiler.
That's the spoiler.
Yeah.
So 4 Horsemen.
Was I not supposed to say that? I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
No,
we're gonna do it tomorrow night, and hopefully I can get it out tomorrow night, because, like I said, I've been away all week, so I've had no time to do shit. So
yeah, because
I've been going old school for this one. So
yeah,
I've been listening to it, and I haven't gone out of my way to listen to the song before I actually start it. So you guys made
you're familiar with
you made an interesting point in the last episode about the writing of Kill 'Em All, how it was very little life experience, and it was thrash, and the songs didn't really have much of a story with Whiplash and Seek and Destroy. Whereas the Horsemen,
a little different.
It was their first real foray into pulling some lore and putting it into a song, kind of like Maiden has been known to do.
Yep.
But I mean, they also turned around and did another biblical song in Creeping Death, and that's it. It
arguably
shows
the greatest song they've ever written in some people's list.
Arguably.
And
I think I didn't know how James's parents were that religious, and yet suddenly songs like the 4 Horsemen and Creeping Death make perfect sense.
Yeah. It totally gives you a new perspective on James's writing influence from how his parents were.
And going from what the song originally was to what it turned into is quite a transformation in itself.
All right,
we
cool.
will
So
talk
I'm
all
going to be.
things the Four Horsemen.
I will be listening to that before I listen to the old podcast. But right now, I'm going to get this one up for our on-demand listeners, and I'm going to go watch a bunch of Dune.
Dune,
have a good time. Let us know how you enjoy
I can't
it.
wait to hear about it because I really want to see it.
Yeah, I will definitely let you guys know later this afternoon or this evening.
Yes, please
how
do.
it's turned out, depending on which show we actually get to.
Right.
So, all right, thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back next week with some stuff. I think next week's Easter weekend, long weekend.
We do.
It
Bunny
is.
rabbits and chocolate chickens.
And my mom's coming to visit.
Ooh,
I haven't seen grandma since I haven't seen my mom since August. So,
that'd be nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be a nice visit. I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent, boys, and we'll be back next week. We'll drop something. We'll find a topic. We'll figure it out. I think we had a couple of ideas and options sitting in the old queue there. And thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Until next week, good afternoon.
And don't forget to have your pet spayed or neutered to help control the pet population.
Thanks, Bob Barker.